Okay, so I have to admit, when you said we were looking at a preschool brochure for this deep dive, I wasn't sure what to expect. But
Right.
this Russelito brochure, it's amazing. I mean, who knew graduation lists could be so revealing?
It is pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, you're right. It's not just any old brochure. This is like a straight up primary source.
Totally.
It's a window into a whole community and like a specific moment in time.
I was thinking the same thing. It's like this little preschool in Los Olivos, Peru, accidentally created a time capsule.
Exactly. So we're talking 1997, right? Los Olivos, this bustling district just outside Lima. Think about it. The world is busy. Well, mourning Princess Diana, figuring out this whole internet thing.
Oh, yeah.
And here's Russelito just opening its doors.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what those parents, those first Russelito parents, what were they hoping for?
Right. That's what I love about this. Like, what did they think the future held for their kids, for the world? Maybe we can find out.
Maybe we can. And speaking of those parents, something else in the brochure really stood out to me, even before we get to those amazing names you mentioned.
Oh, what's that?
Just the language they use. Even back then, they were talking about integral education and a culture of peace. Those weren't exactly buzzwords back in 97.
You're right. Those phrases really stand out.
It's like they wanted to make it clear that Russelito was about more than just, finger painting and nap time.
Totally. It was about, like, values.
Yes.
Preparing these kids for something bigger.
Exactly. And then there's that phrase, a world globalized. And again, this is 1997. The internet was still pretty new for most people.
Right.
But globalization, that was already changing everything. They knew these kids would grow up in a different world, a more connected world.
That's true, yeah.
And they wanted to be a part of that. Pretty forward thinking for a preschool, if you ask me.
It makes you wonder if those ideas resonated with families back then, especially in Los Olivos.
It makes you wonder. This brochure, it's more than just a list of names and a cute logo. It's capturing these hopes and dreams that people had for the future.
For their kids, for themselves.
Exactly.
Okay, so the names. This is the part I've been looking forward to. Each year is like a little snapshot of what names were popular.
It really is amazing. You can tell so much about a particular time and place just by looking at what parents are naming their kids.
Exactly. So where does Russelito start us off on this journey through baby names?
Well, 1997, right out the gate, we've got Diana, Fernando, Luis, Myra. Very traditional, very much in line with, what you'd expect in Peru at that time.
Right. Makes sense. But I'm guessing those globalized world vibes start creeping in at some point.
Oh, absolutely. Flip ahead to, say, 99, 2000, you start seeing names like Kevin, Sharon, even a Stacy sprinkled in there.
Kevin, it's like instant flashback. I can practically hear the Backstreet Boys now.
Right. It's a perfect example of how pop culture starts to, transcend borders. And look at 2003, we've got a Kevin Christopher right next to a Shawsmill.
Shawsmill. See, now that's the name you don't hear every day.
That's the thing, right? You've got these, classic Hispanic names still going strong, but then these little hints of something else mixed in.
It's like this blend of holding on to tradition, but also embracing what's new.
Exactly. And you even see it in the spellings, like Johosmil instead of, the more standard spelling.
Oh, that's true. Parents getting creative.
It speaks to this desire for your kid to stand out, maybe even a little bit of, aspiration woven in.
That's a good point. Like, each of these names has a story behind it. And taken all together, they really do tell us about this community in Los Olivos.
Absolutely. You can almost feel them, navigating all these changes, trying to find their own place in the world, just like you were saying earlier.
Looking at all these names year after year, it really makes you wonder what happened to all these kids.
It really does.
Like, where are they now? What are they doing? Are they living up to those global citizen dreams Russelito was selling back in 97?
That's the historian's dilemma, right? We get this little glimpse into the past and then poof.
Gone.
Exactly. We're left with more questions than answers.
It's true. All we have is this one brochure. Like, imagine if we could find other stuff, Old school records, maybe some local news articles from back in the day.
Oh, can you imagine? Or even just think about it, online profiles. Social media could be a gold mine.
Right. Like, what if Kevin from 99 is out there rocking out in a band? Maybe Joe Small's like a CEO or something.
It would be fascinating to see, wouldn't it? To see how those unique names we were just talking about, how those connect to the paths they ended up taking.
Totally. But even without all that extra detective work, this brochure does make you think, about how much Russelito itself has probably changed since then.
Oh, for sure.
Like, they were so proud of having computers back in 97.
Right.
I can only imagine what they have now.
Interactive whiteboards, tablets for every kid.
Exactly. They're probably teaching coding before nap time these days.
Yeah.
But I wonder, do you think those core values, those ideas about, you know, peace and a globalized world, do you think they're still around?
It's a good question. Like, have they managed to hold on to that original vision? Or have things, naturally shifted over time?
This whole deep dive has kind of turned into a mystery. I almost want to hop on a plane to Peru, track down some of these Russelito alumni, see what they're up to.
Right. And just imagine the stories they could tell about how this little preschool, this place that probably hasn't changed that much from the outside, how it played a role in shaping who they became.
Exactly. You know what? I am going to see if I can find any of them online. Maybe some of those 2004 grads are old enough for, like, Instagram or something. It could be like a digital reunion.
There you go. And who knows, maybe someone listening will hear this and get inspired to do a little digging of their own.
Oh, I love that.
What treasures are hidden away in their attics, just waiting to be rediscovered? What stories are they sitting on? It's amazing to think about.
It really is. Well, on that note, thanks for taking this deep dive with me. It's been quite a trip down memory lane, even if it's not our own memories.
My pleasure. Always happy to explore, even if it starts with something as unexpected as a preschool brochure.